Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about some of the best accessories for the iPad. So the iPad alone is actually pretty great and capable on its own, but these accessories just take it to the next level and help you utilize your iPad even more. So let's get started. Starting the list off with probably the most expensive one on the list is the Apple Pencil. So the Apple Pencil is a great tool for artists and just people who want to unleash their creativity on the iPad by drawing, which is something I'm really bad at, but don't worry, if you're like me, you can still utilize the Apple Pencil into your everyday non-artistic workflow. For one, it's great for taking down notes, so if you want to go paperless and write down all your notes digitally, you'll be able to do that just fine with the Apple Pencil, and considering the price point, you should be able to do that with the Apple Pencil. It works great with the native Notes app, or maybe even a paid-for app like Notability. The only drawback here is getting used to writing on an iPad, because it is really weird at first, but you'll get used to it. It's also great for getting around creative apps like LumaFusion and Lightroom. It just makes it so much easier to adjust things, especially if you're video editing, like scrubbing through the timeline and managing different clips, which would seem much harder if you were just using your finger. Although ever since iPad OS 13.7 came out, iPads now have mouse support, so we're gonna get to that in a bit. But overall, if you're not a creative, somebody who likes to draw, this might not be as necessary. When I first bought the iPad, I thought that the Apple Pencil was just like this necessity that I really had to have to be able to utilize the iPad. It's very convenient for students who study, but overall, you don't really need this to enjoy your iPad. Next up is a keyboard. Now, typing on the iPad's touch keyboard is just not a great experience, and especially if you want to do some actual work, it just becomes a hassle at that point. So getting an external keyboard is the solution to that. So this is the Keychron K2V2, and you guys are probably already very aware of this keyboard because it's very famous, but it's a mechanical keyboard, and I love mechanical keyboards because the sound is just so but it's also a Bluetooth keyboard, so you can connect it up to 3 devices, which is great for me because I jump from my MacBook to my iPad all the time. And as you can see, it's backlit, and I love that. So this is the white backlight version. There's also an RGB version of this, so yeah. The only problem with this is it's pretty much perfect for an at-home desk setup. It's not ideal for, throwing it in a bag and using it in class or in a cafe. So if you are considering getting a keyboard to bring around with you, do consider the Logitech K380. So this is a much more low-profile keyboard. It has nice scooped scissor keys, which is much more quiet compared to the Keychron K2V2. So it's small, it's thin, it's lightweight, so you can easily throw this into a bag and bring it pretty much everywhere you want. It's also a Bluetooth keyboard, so you can connect it up to 3 devices as well. So yeah, it's nice, it works, and you can bring it wherever you want. It's just such a nice keyboard to use and bring around. Next up is a mouse. Now, ever since iPad OS 13.7, they finally released mouse support, and it can do pretty much everything your finger can do and the Apple Pencil can do for the most part, except for drawing. And it's just a great little accessory to have whether you want to get some work done at home or if you're outside. This is the Logitech Mx Anywhere 2S, and it's a mouse that's a little bit more on the expensive side because it can connect up to 3 devices and has all these custom buttons. Again, that's great for me because I jump from my MacBook to my iPad all the time, but if you are looking into a mouse that you're just going to be using on your iPad, consider the Logitech Pebble. So this is a nice, cute little mouse. It has 1 Bluetooth connection, so again, if you want to use this just for your iPad, that's great too, but it also comes with a unifying receiver that you can connect to via dongle if you don't have like battery anymore. So yeah, it's cute, it works, it gets the job done. There's not really much more to say. It looks really good, and it pairs up really nicely with the Logitech K380 for a nice and cool looking aesthetic setup. Next up is a stand. Now this is pretty self-explanatory, you put your iPad on this, so you get a better view of the iPad itself, and you get a better angle when you do video calls. And yeah, there's nothing much more to say about it. It's just really neat to have. It has a nice metal build. This one is from Boneruy. I'm not really sure if that's the right way to say it. I just found it online, and it can carry the weight of the iPad Air 4, no problem. It is important to note that not all stands will be able to carry the weight of your specific iPad. So yeah, stand. So Apple is slowly but surely getting rid of all their 3.5mm headphone jacks on all their devices, and that includes the iPad Air 4. So having a good pair of Bluetooth headphones or earphones just work out great. These are the Bose Soundlink around ear headphones, and it's the one I've been using for the past 2 years. It sounds really good as expected of Bose. It has nice memory foam pads, so it's not discomforting to use after long periods of time. It isn't sound canceling, but it still does the job pretty well. You can connect it simultaneously up to 2 devices. So yeah, I like using third-party brands because I don't like limiting myself to just one brand, like AirPods, because I also use an Android phone. So having a nice pair of headphones is always nice, especially when you want to isolate the sound just to yourself. So I'm not one who likes to play a lot of games on their mobile devices, but if you're the type who likes to do that and plays a lot of games on their iPad and happens to have a PS4 just lying around, the DualShock 4 controller is a great Bluetooth controller for your iPad. So all you have to do is hold the PS button and the options button for 5 seconds simultaneously, and it will just appear on your Bluetooth device that's just connected, and you'll be able to play games instantly. I was able to test it out with Call of Duty, and it worked out fine. The latency wasn't that bad. Overall, it was a good experience because, you know, the DualShock 4 is a really good controller. But if you don't have a PS4 lying around, these controllers are actually quite expensive, but any Bluetooth controller will work. So yeah, I've said it before and I'll say it again. USB-C is the best thing to come to iPads, and that's because you'll have access to something like this, a dongle. And this pretty much enables you to use your iPad like an actual computer because it will give you access to devices like external hard drives, SD cards, USB drives. And if it has this little HDMI port, you'll be able to connect your iPad to an external display. And it's just so neat to be able to do all of that so easily. Gone are the days where the iPad was just like this really big iPhone. You can really use it like a computer now, thanks to this little thing. There are different kinds of dongles out there. There are some that really flush against the iPad, which may conflict the connection if you're using a case. So make sure you get a dongle that has like this extension if you want to use it with a case. Again, having a USB-C port is absolutely amazing because it gives you access to multiple drives, like a hard drive and a solid state drive. So pretty self-explanatory. Having hard drives are great to back up your files. For me personally, I have a 4TB hard drive, and this is pretty much where I keep all my stuff, and a 500GB solid state drive for editing and backing up my files when I travel. A good note is just it's safer to travel with an SSD because it's just safer in general. There's no moving parts, and sometimes you don't even need a dongle because it's usually a USB-C to USB-C connection, which is great and convenient. I usually travel with an SSD because I usually back up my SD card footage onto this SSD, and it's great to be able to just bring my iPad with me when I travel, and I don't have to bring my much heavier laptop anymore. It's just so good. The last accessory that we're going to be talking about is a power bank. Now, everybody probably knows what a power bank is now, but this is one from Aukey. It's really small and compact. It has 10,000 milliamperes, which is great because it will be able to charge your iPad up to like one full charge and a little more, so that's really nice and convenient to have. It's really small, so it's not a nuisance to bring around with you. So that is pretty much that for this video. Hopefully you guys got something from it. All of these accessories are pretty affordable except for the Apple Pencil, but yeah, they really do elevate the iPad experience and just make it much more fun and more efficient to use. So yeah, that's pretty much that. I'll see you in the next one.